Hello, my name is Julio Alejandro, and my debate is about smoking. Why should not be made legal everywhere? In initial, we all want to live in a society where our health is protected and where young people are not easily influenced by harmful habits, right? Over the past few years, vaping has become extremely popular, especially among teenagers and young adults. It is often presented as a modern, cleaner, and safer alternative to traditional smoking. Because of this image, many people believe that it should be allowed everywhere without restrictions. However, this area ignores important risks and consequences that could affect not only individuals but society as a whole. First of all, one of the most serious concerns about vaping is how easily it spreads among young people. Unlike traditional cigarettes, vaping products come in different flavors like fruit, candy, or mint, which makes them more attractive and less intimidating. The design of these devices is also direct and technological, which adds to their appeal. As a result, many teenagers start vaping out of curiosity without fully understanding what they are getting into. This is not just speculation. It is supported by data according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. In 2023, more than 2.1 million middle and high school students in the United States report using cigarettes. That number is alarming because it shows how widespread vaping has become in very short time. If vaping were made legal everywhere, access would become even easier and these numbers could increase significantly. Another major issue is addiction. Most vaping devices contain nicotine, which is one of the most addictive substances. Many people think they can control their issue, but non nicotine dependence can develop quickly, especially in young users. The adolescent brain is still developing, and exposure to nicotine can affect memory, attention, and emotional regulation. This means that vaping is not just a temporary habit, it can have long term effects on person's development and well being. In addition to addiction, there are also health risks that cannot be ignored. While vaping may be less harmful than smoking traditional cigarettes, is it not harmless? The vapor inhaled into the lungs contain chemicals that can cause irritation and damage over time. There have also been reported cases of lung injuries linked to vaping, which raise serious concerns among health professionals. Saying that something is less harmful does not mean it is safe enough to be allowed everywhere. Another important point is the impact of public spaces. If vaping were legal everywhere, it would become too normal to see people vaping in schools, restaurants, offices, and public transportation. This will not only expose others to secondhand vapor but also change social norms for years. Effort can be made to reduce smoking in public spaces, and those efforts have been successful in many countries. Allowing vaping everywhere could reverse that progress and make nicotine use seem acceptable again in everyday environments. The World Health Organization has clearly warned about this issue, stating into that e-cigarettes are harmful to health and are not safe. This reinforces the idea that vaping should be treated with caution, not complete freedom. Now, it is important to consider that other side of the argument. Some people believe that vaping should be legal everywhere because it helps smokers quit traditional cigarettes. They argue that since vaping produces fewer toxic substances than tobacco smoke, it is better alternative and should not be restricted. Others also say that adults should have the freedom to choose what they do with their own bodies without government interference. These arguments may seem reasonable at first, but they have important weaknesses. While vaping might help some smokers reduce or quit cigarette use, it is not guaranteed. In fact, many people end up using both products instead of replacing one with the other. This is known as dual use, and it can actually increase overall exposure to harmful substances rather than reduce it. Regarding personal freedom, it is true that individuals should have the right to make their own choices. However, that freedom has limits when it affects others. Public health policies exist to protect everyone, especially vulnerable groups like children and non users. Allowing Vaping everywhere will make it harder to protect these groups and could expose them to unnecessary risk. Another counterargument is that regulating vaping so strictly could create a black market or push people toward more dangerous alternatives. While this is a possibility, it does not justify making vaping completely legal everywhere. The solution is balanced regulations, not total freedom. Governments can allow control use while still limiting where and how vaping is permitted. At the end of the day, this debate is not about completely banning vaping or judging people who use it. Is it about finding the right balance between personal choice and public safety? Making vaping legal everywhere will remove important protections and could lead to increased addiction, health problems, and normalization of nicotine use. When we look at all the evidence, the conclusion becomes clear. Vaping is not harmless, it is highly addictive and it has already had a significant impact on young people. Society has worked hard to reduce smoking and promote healthier lifestyles, and it would be a mistake to undo that progress. For all these reasons, vaping should not be made legal everywhere. Instead, it should remain regulated in order to protect public health, reduce risk, and ensure a safer environment for everyone. Thank you.